Good morning, fellow Hoops fans. Welcome back to yet another episode of the Last Shot NBA show right here on Little Birdie TV. And as always, we are brought to you by our great mates over there at topsport.com.au. Now, it is a weary Monday morning. Some of us have been up very early watching these playoff games. So some of us are very tired. We've had our caffeine, but I don't know if it's doing anything at this point. So we're going to bring on old mate BK to talk all things NBA. BK, my man, how you doing?
I'm doing good, my man. I'm a couple of coffees deep.
Yeah, I'm a little bit deeper than that. But yeah, they're not having any effect on me at the moment, BK. Let's get straight into it. We're going to talk about these NBA games. There was two played this morning. The first one tipped off very early, and the Milwaukee Bucks beat the Boston Celtics 101-89 in Boston. Giannis, triple-double, 24 points, 12 rebounds, 13 assists. Tatum and Brown held to only 33 points combined by the Milwaukee Bucks. BK, look, it's only one game, and you know what? I actually picked the Celtics in 6 in this series. I went against my Greek brother, and that was because Chris Middleton is not going to be available for the entirety of this series, and I just thought that was going to be too big a loss. But look, it's only one game, BK, but I don't know. Should I change my pick? Should I go back to the Bucks?
If the Bucks bring the heat physically like the way they did today, you might have to, because for everything we've said about Boston's defense, that was what Milwaukee was today. They were terrific and just roughing up the Celtics, making life really difficult for them. I think the Celtics only shot 10 of 31 in the paint. They were just giving up nothing easy. And that's ultimately what swung the game in their favor. The Celtics didn't really have much of an answer after, as they described it, getting punched in the mouth. You
know what, BK? I was watching it and I'm like, this is kind of what they did to the Brooklyn Nets in that first round, right? That physical defense threw them off their game. And now the Milwaukee Bucks are kind of serving up that to the Boston Celtics. And look, again, it's only one game. There's, adjustments to be made by both teams. But it just seemed like the Boston Celtics didn't really have an answer for that.
Yeah, and to their credit, without Chris Middleton, we, asked the question, who was going to step up for them? Would Drew Holiday be able to be that guy? And he was this morning, 25 points alongside that big triple-double from Giannis. When you have those two guys rolling and then the role players are doing their jobs, even without Middleton, this Bucks team, they're the reigning champs for a reason.
Yes, I think Giannis shot something like, 9 of 20 something. I can't remember the exact number, but I was like, he didn't even really have that good of a shooting night. Still got a triple-double, still dominated the Boston Celtics and took home court back. Like, I don't know, man. Again, I don't want to overreact to one game, but I think I'm starting to regret that Celtics pick that I made.
When he threw it off the backboard to himself and jammed it, I was like, oh, okay, this is different.
Yeah, and not only that, did you see how high he threw that thing off the backboard? That wasn't
crazy.
Like,
it wasn't
that was like
throw.
The top of the backboard. Jesus.
But you're right. It is only one game. The Celtics will have time to come back, make adjustments. But this is going to be a fun series. It's going to be a real grind out, I think, between these two teams. And I think we're going to get some really, traditional playoff basketball from the Celtics and Bucks.
Yeah, it's going to be some traditional Eastern Conference playoff basketball in that one there. So we haven't really seen that in a while. So I'm kind of curious to see how that one will play out. BK, the other game this morning, which just finished up not too long ago, the Golden State Warriors beat the Memphis Grizzlies 117-116. 31 points from Jordan Poole off the bench today. Steph was starting, as he has the last couple of games. Draymond Green got ejected in the third quarter. BK, I'm looking at this game, and I think it's one that Memphis is going to regret letting go. Draymond gets ejected in the third quarter. They're playing at home. They've obviously got the home court advantage, which the Golden State Warriors have now taken away from them. I think they're going to look back and regret this game, BK.
Yeah, especially considering the games that Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. had. Like they were nearly perfect for the Grizzlies. This is one I think they'll regret, because I don't know, if they're going to be able to both play at that level consistently. But having said that, I still think the Grizzlies are a good shout in this series. I mean, that was just an experienced Warriors team that had been there before. When the game got tight, Klay Thompson comes up, hits that three-pointer. Will they take advantage of Draymond Green being suspended? That's the other big key for them in this next game.
You bring up a good point though about Ja and Jaren Jackson, being kind of near perfect today. They're going to have to play like that every single game to have a chance of beating the Golden State Warriors. They can't afford to have off nights or to be taken off their game or anything like that, because the Warriors are the kind of team that will take advantage of something like that. And I just don't look. I think the Grizzlies win a game or two. I think I picked the Warriors in 6 for this one here. But I just don't think that they're going to be able to be perfect enough on a consistent basis to beat the Warriors.
Yeah, the Warriors just kind of showed you how much experience matters in these games. I mean, you have playoff performers all over that court, and this is the Grizzlies' first kind of run through. They won a playoff series to get to the second round. It's an improvement on last season, but this is the stage where it gets a little tricky because Golden State. I mean, as we said before, I didn't think much of them coming into this postseason, but they might damn near be the favorites.
Yeah, it's been a roller coaster for me with the Warriors this season. I was really high on them early when they were playing super, super well. Then I kind of like dipped off them a little bit because I was like, all right, they're coming back to earth. Then they're sort of like picking it back up again now. And I'm like, damn, this Warriors team is pretty good again.
Do you think Draymond should have been tossed from that game, or is that a little soft?
I mean, he did really grab that. Like, he grabbed the jersey and he kind of pulled down, man. So I thought that was a flagrant 2, yes.
Yeah, it's a tough one because you want the playoffs to have that level of physicality, but then it's also like it's not really a basketball play. So I'm not too disappointed in it. Like I get where the officials are coming from on that one, but people want to see the players get into it.
You said, I love the fact that Draymond just embraced being a heel. Did you see him getting off the court? He's egging the crowd on as he's going back to the locker room.
I love it.
I love it. All right, BK, let's shift back over to the Eastern Conference because there's been an injury. It happened a couple of days ago. We're going to talk about it now that could maybe affect one of those series there, and that's Joel Embiid. He suffered a right orbital fracture and a mild concussion. Was already playing through a torn ligament in his thumb. Now he's obviously got this. The team has announced that he is out indefinitely ahead of Game 1 tomorrow against the Miami Heat. So we've got the clip up on the screen right now where he suffered the injury. Now, BK, Doc Rivers is partly to blame for this, for me, because at this stage where the injury happened, the 76ers were up 29 points with less than 4 minutes to go. So they were already assured of going through to the next round. He should have been on the bench, not even in the game. He had a similar injury to this a few seasons ago, ended up missing 3 weeks with that injury. Without him, the 76ers season is not going to last another 3 weeks. It's not going to last another 2 weeks. So, that's a major injury blow, and Doc Rivers has got to take some of the blame for that.
Yeah, there's no chance he needs to be in the game that late. They were home free, but now the job starts for the 76ers because they weren't great without Embiid this season. They were 6-8 in games that Embiid missed this season. So now the pressure kind of falls on James Harden. Can he do enough to at least maybe win them one of these first 2 games and give Embiid a chance to maybe try and sneak back? Because indefinitely could be weeks, it could be a couple of days. We don't know at this point.
Yeah, well, whenever he does come back, like I said, whether it's this series or he's going to have to wear a mask again, like he did when he first came back last time around. But I just think that this Miami Heat team, if you're relying on 33-year-old James Harden to get you one of these 2 games in Miami, I'm sorry, I've got breaking news for you. It's not going to happen against this Miami Heat team. We've already spoken about how good their defense is, and especially playing at home. I just don't see it happening, BK.
And especially that matchup in the middle, I was really looking forward to between Adebayo and Joel Embiid. Now that completely changes the complexion of things. What do the Sixers do in terms of their front court rotation? Do they just try and go super small and try and run the Heat off the floor? That's going to be tough. They don't really have the facilities for that.
No,
Big man.
Shout out. I know where you went with that quote, and I love it. Shout out to my man, Big Shaq, with that one there. I just don't see it happening, and I don't think Doc Rivers is the man to really figure this out for them on the fly.
Doc Rivers is getting killed this week.
He's not having a good week, is he? Yeah. All right, BK. Let's move back over to the Western Conference. We're going to talk about the Utah Jazz now. obviously being eliminated in the first round. They go out in the first round for the fourth time in the past 6 years. Post game, there's obviously going to be a lot of questions surrounding the core of this team. Post game, they asked Donovan Mitchell about his future with the Utah Jazz, or whether he's going to opt to ask for a trade or find a way out of Utah. He was non-committal. BK, we're going to take a listen to the post game quote right now.
I'm answering the same question. My goal and my opportunity, my mindset is to win. And like I said, right now I'm not really looking at that. I answered Sarah's question. And you could take that, but for me, I just want to win, yo. This hurts, and like I said, I'll think about it in a week and kind of go from there. But right now, Tim, I'm not really thinking about any of that. To be completely honest with you, I'm not. And I said that during the year, I'm just not thinking about that. So.
Okay, so we heard Donovan Mitchell there. He didn't really want to give too much away, which I kind of get too. He's just been eliminated in a playoff series again. He's not going to really sit there and tell the media, "Yep, I'm asking for a trade right now," or all that sort of stuff. But look, BK, the Jazz core's been together for a while. Gobert's been there 9 seasons. Mitchell's been there 5 seasons. Obviously, there's been some friction between those two for a while now, dating back a couple of seasons at least. They haven't been able to get it done, right? I feel like it's time to start fresh for the Utah Jazz. Blow it up. They've got 2 movable assets in Gobert and Mitchell. Now, whether you want to trade 1 or 2 or trade them both and just completely blow things up, I don't know, but they're going to have to do something.
Yeah, it's tough for Mitchell, because this Jazz team has been a good team, but not a great team. We've seen them kind of fall over in the postseason every year. And in terms of a trade, Mitchell is definitely the guy that will yield the most return. And when they want to keep building around Rudy Gobert and that same structure of having that defensive presence there. But I think Mitchell, for a guy that's not only just signed an extension, he's still early into his contract. It's a tricky one, but you've also got the Mike Conley situation. He's making a ton of money, and he did not look great in that first round series either. But I think for the Utah Jazz, something has to change, because they've kind of been through this roster up and down for the last sort of 3-4 years, and just haven't been able to get over the hump. So I'm not sure which direction they're going to go in, which guy they're going to pick, or ultimately which guy might pick for them and say, "Hey, get me out of here." But the way it kind of looks, it feels like Donovan Mitchell's maybe that guy. Maybe the New York Knicks come sniffing around.
Bring him home, baby. Bring him home. Bring Donovan Mitchell home. Listen, we've got a couple of guys we want to trade as well. They can have, I don't know, Julius Randle. They can have, anyone.
You'll trade them all.
Not all of them. I want to keep RJ. I want to keep Mitchell Robinson. And I want to keep Emmanuel quickly. Anyone else, he's up for grabs.
Yeah, I think that's probably the case.
All right, BK. We're going to let you go, my man. We're going to catch you again later on in the week, man. Enjoy your week.
I appreciate it, brother.
All right, we're going to bring on old mate Andrew Parkinson now. He's going to take us through all the odds for tomorrow's games. We're also going to take a look at tonight's NBL semi-final, which is going to be an absolute cracker. Parky, how are you?
I'm very well, thanks, Nick. It's just a lovely sweet spot that we've got right now for Australian basketball punters. We've got the conference semi-finals in the NBA, and we've got the semi-finals in the NBL playoffs. So it's just a great time of year. And we've been on a bit of a hot streak, Nick.
Yeah, Parky, talk about it. Go on, talk about it.
Well, our NBA picks are going at 14-5, and the NBL picks were 3-1 at the moment. So that was great. We had a good day on Friday, the picks on the Friday show. We got the over in the Suns at Pelicans closeout game 6. We also got the Mavs right in their game 6 closeout against the Jazz. And the one we disagreed on, and I finally got one back on you, Nick, the Grizzlies and the Timberwolves in that game 6. You had the Timberwolves and I had the Grizzlies. So I got one back on you. So we're currently 1-1 in our little head-to-head action.
There you go. I was very surprised. I really did think the Timberwolves were going to get that one there, but they choked that one away. All right, Parky,
They should have had it too.
Yeah, they should have had it. They should have had it.
And in the NBL, I got the Hawks wrong. My old coach Brian Gorge, and at that home that first game they had, in that series at home, and they blew that one. But we got the under 171.5. So, but the Hawks are out now. They lost. They lost their that second game and got swept. And everyone was thinking that it was the other series with United and the Jackjumpers that was going to be the sweep. And we all thought that the Hawks Kings series was going to go 3. But well, here we go. We're going to get into the NBA games first, Nick?
Actually, we'll start off with the NBL, Parky,
Sure.
since we're already talking about the NBL, and that one is on tonight, and then we'll get into tomorrow's NBA game. So tonight we've got Game 3. It's do or die for both of these teams. Melbourne United, Tasmania Jackjumpers. United at home, $1.30 favourites. Jackjumpers, $3.50. Line, 7.5. Total, 162 even. That one's going to be live on ESPN tonight. Now, Tasmania Jackjumpers coach Scott Roth said, we're not done. He said, we're not finished. They're coming into Game 3 looking to win this. They're not here just to, be satisfied with having pushed Melbourne United to a Game 3. They want to win this series, but playing at home, all their depth, I just think Melbourne's got too much, Parky. What do you reckon?
Yeah, look, I think United will win this. That 7.5 point spread is, that might be a little high. So I'm not as confident about that, but I do like the under in this game. It's at 162. The punters like it as well because it was a bit higher than that, and it's just been knocked down. So the money's been coming for the under, and the reason why is game 1 that was at United was only 137 points, and I liked the under in that one. It was about 167.5, so that was under by 30 points. And then of course I went down in game 2 down in Tassie, and that one was low scoring as well. That ended up about 151. So I think I do like the under in this, the under 162, and I think United will win. But that's a big spread to cover. They won by 11 in the first game, but that that was sort of a bit of a blowout game. So if the Jackjumpers could keep it a little bit tighter tonight, we'll stay away from the spread, but we like the under, Nick.
All right, and Parky, we're going to take a look at the NBL Championship odds real quick as well. There's only 3 teams left, obviously, the Sydney Kings, Melbourne United, and Tasmania Jackjumpers. The Kings, who were absolutely phenomenal in their semi-final series against the Illawarra Hawks, favourites to win it, $1.85. United, $2. Jackjumpers, $16. But geez, what a story it'll be if they can actually knock off United tonight. But yeah, I just think for me, I'm going with the form, and form suggests Sydney Kings, deserved favourites for the title.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at that $2 for United, and I like that. They've got the home court advantage. So in the best of 5 series, that could be 3 games in Melbourne. I think that's that can help them out. And I think United's defense with Shea Ili and Dellavedova, who were both pretty close to winning Defensive Player of the Year in the NBL competition. And I think having those guys being able to deal with Jalen Adams, because the Hawks couldn't deal with him. He had 30 points in game 1 in Illawarra, and then he had 29 yesterday at home. So, that's where I think that's where that series is going to be decided. That's assuming United win tonight against the Jackjumpers, because I think there's a few Jackjumper fans out there that wouldn't mind grabbing a little piece of that $16. Because you could put a little bit on that, and if they happen to win tonight, then it's a 2-horse race in the grand final series. So, but I think United will get through, and I actually like the $2 for United.
All right, well, we both agree on United for tonight, so our little personal battle is we're gonna have to wait and see how we go with these NBA picks.
Well, we can take it for the NBL Championship, because I think you said you like the Kings. So
I do like the Kings. Yes.
Well, how about we'll go head to head for that one.
All right,
so
done.
In the NBL, you got the Kings and I've got United.
All right, there you go. We'll include that in our little personal battle. Let's move on to the NBA games for tomorrow, Parky. We're going to start off with the Dallas Mavericks and Phoenix Suns. This is going to be a good series. Phoenix Suns $1.42, Mavericks $2.92, lines at -6, totals at 215, live on ESPN. Game 1 is going to be crucial in this series. Phoenix Suns have got Devin Booker back. They're looking the goods once again. Parky, what are you seeing from this one?
Yeah, I like the Suns at home in this one to cover the spread. I think it's 5.5. It's been jumping around a little bit. I think that graphic had it at 6. I think right at this minute, it's 5.5, and I'm sort of leaning towards that one. I think, Bridges guarding Luka. I think he normally does a really good job on him. So I think at home, I think the Suns can get this one. And but I really like the under in this game as well. The Mavs playoff average in their 6 games that they had was under 204 points. The Suns was a lot higher, but I think we forget that the Mavs actually had the best defense in the West. So and their games actually went under this season 61% of the time. So I really like the under 215 in this game and the Suns minus 5.5.
I'm going Phoenix at home, Parky. I'm picking them to come out of this series regardless, but I just think this game 1 at home, Booker's back. I just think Phoenix is too much of a complete team for the Dallas Mavericks. And like you said, Bridges on Luka. They're going to have guys like Brunson and Dinwiddie and everyone else really have, like, we spoke earlier about the Boston Celtics, the Memphis Grizzlies needing, other guys to have perfect games like Moran and Jaren Jackson. I think it's going to be the same situation here. They're going to need these other guys like Dinwiddie and Brunson to have perfect games every single game to beat the Phoenix Suns, and I just don't see that happening.
Yeah, no, I agree with that one.
All right, let's move on to the last game we're going to take a look at for tomorrow. Philadelphia 76ers, Miami Heat. Miami $1.27 favorites, 76ers $3.95, and a lot of that has got to do with Joel Embiid not being available. Lines at -7.5. Total is at 209 even. You can watch that one live on ESPN as well. Parky, Miami for me, I think this goes without saying with no Embiid.
Yes. No, I think they'll win. It's just that spread, is a little bit high, so I'm not sure where to go with that one. So I think I haven't got a pick for the spread in this game. It's just I'd like to sort of see a few games before we get into it. Embiid will probably be out to at least game 3 or 4, and also the Heat have got Lowry out as well, and I think Jimmy's back, but he's got that sore knee. So, I'm just not sure what's going on. Oh, by the way, I agree totally with you guys about Embiid. He should not have been in that game, and I think Doc Rivers has come out and said that he doesn't regret having him in the game, which I think is ridiculous. But anyway, I digress. But the total in this game at 209, I think that's a little bit low. So I think I like the over in this game. The Heat games this season have gone over about 59-60% of the time. And in their playoff series, they did average 207, which is below that mark. But the 76ers in their 6 playoff games so far have been around about 215. So, no pick for the spread on this one, but I do like the over 209 points.
All right, so far, it's the only one that we're disagreeing on is the NBL Championship ones. I'm going with Sydney, you're going with Melbourne.
Yes, well, that series I think will start later this week after we after tonight's games. Decided we get that team in. So assuming United get in, I've got United, and you've got those Kings.
Well, we'll be able to speak about this on Wednesday morning because we'll be doing an NBL Grand Final series preview by then. Obviously, we'll know who the 2 teams are. Parky, thank you very much. We're going to catch you again on Wednesday morning. So thank you very much for jumping on again and sharing your expertise.
Yeah, look forward to it, Nick.
All right, cheers, mate. This has been another episode of the Last Shot NBA show right here on Little Birdie TV. As always, brought to you by our great mates over there at topsport.com.au. We're going to catch you guys Wednesday morning.